It was a great place to stop and get a good warm meal and some pie. But, you know, times change.
It appears to be the end of an era for local favorite restaurant chain Shari's. Less than 2 months after we reported several of their locations are shutting down across Oregon, Washington, and Idaho, the Beaverton-based family-style restaurant chain has seemingly run into even more trouble. When we last checked in, Shari's was hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. Multiple vendors, such as a construction company and a plumbing company, said Shari's owes them money. A property owner in Bend sued the Shari's management company for unpaid rent, claiming they racked up more than $150,000 in unpaid bills. Charlton Marketing, a small Portland ad agency, claims Shari's owed them more than $100 grand for a marketing campaign last year. And on top of all that, the state of Idaho has 6 active tax liens against the company for more than $200 grand in unpaid taxes. Over the weekend, Shari's abruptly closed all of its Oregon locations. It was confirmed in a statement sent from the parent company of Shari's Management Corporation to the Oregon Lottery yesterday. Even their website appears to be down right now following the weekend closures. Despite state records showing nearly $35 million in video lottery sales in 2023. Former manager of the Shari's by the airport, Deb Molina, says the writing was on the wall.
Take money, go grocery shopping. For this location, that was tough because, you know, that's like taking my car to the grocery store and buying $2,500 worth of food and getting it in there. I mean, we don't have trucks. We don't have, you know, I'd have to ask employees to help and, you know, bye-bye. And, but that's what we've been doing. They told us to turn off lottery. Then they told us to turn it back on. So we went through the day, but then on Saturday, they would not allow us to buy food. And at that point, how do you open a restaurant when you have no eggs, no hash browns, no bacon, no ham, no cheese? The employees have been calling in sick. It's making them sick. I've been sitting in my office back there, and the garbage is, there's only a piece of plywood separating my office from that garbage. It's horrible. I feel like I've said this many times. We've been in hospice for months, and it was just dragged out to the very end.
Molina says communication from corporate on the closures was near non-existent, and they made it her responsibility to inform the entire staff they were no longer employed by the company.
I think the worst part for me is that they left me to tell everybody. You know what I'm saying? They could have at some point said, "Hey, we tried, you know, but it didn't work, and we're closing the doors." Instead, they just said, "Shut it down," and now people are standing there going, "Hey," and I'm saying, "You don't have a job anymore. I'm so sorry." It was horrible. He said, "You are no longer needed." Because I offered. I said, "Do you need me to come back, clean out the building? What is my next step for you?" Because that's how we all are, even in the face of all of this. And he said, nothing. So now I'm sort of like, all this devotion for what, you know? But it is what it is, and we're all going to go on.
So far, we haven't seen any filings in bankruptcy court, and it's still not clear if any locations are still open outside of Oregon. Management did not respond when we reached out for comment.